What's up, everyone? You're here with Goran from Pick Dawgz, and you're here for your free picks for Saturday, September 16th. Well, guys, we have a very busy day ahead of us. In this video alone, I have, I believe, 21 free picks for you from the European top 5 football leagues. And then again, you are able to find MLS picks in the separate video. We have 13 games on the schedule on Saturday. So, like I said, very busy day. Uh, for my best bets, click the link in the description of this video. That will get you up to my page on the Pickdawgz website, and there you can sign up, get that daily pass, 3-day pass, or even a 7-day pass, which will get you covered all the way through this weekend and through the Champions League, Europa League, and the Conference League that we have going on next week, and of course into the next weekend as well. Of course, for more free picks, go to the Pickdawgz YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, and of course, hit that like button, guys. That does help us a lot. Let's get this show on the road, guys. We have a lot of games to go through, and we are going to kick it off with the EPL. Wolverhampton against Liverpool. As we can see, Liverpool are a massive favorites, and they are in pretty good form right now on a three-game winning streak, undefeated in their last 5 games. They should be getting McAllister back for this game after a red card suspension. I think that Van Dijk is still out for one game because his suspension was extended. Thiago is listed as injured, and Alexander Arnold is also listed as injured. But nonetheless, this is still a very solid team against Wolverhampton, who has been showing some good stuff so far this season. But they are still finding their way, and even though they might score a goal against Liverpool here, I simply don't think they can outscore them. So I'm gonna take Liverpool to win it over 2.5 goals, minus 121. We have to do some digging to get some value out of this game because Liverpool is such a big favorite. Aston Villa is playing against Crystal Palace in the next matchup, guys, and I'm keeping this one very simple. Aston Villa is coming off of a loss against Liverpool 3-0. They haven't scored a goal, which was surprising, but before that, they have been on fire. They are playing pretty well at home. They haven't lost to Crystal Palace in their last 6 home games, and overall, they have been pretty consistent so far this season. And even though Crystal Palace has been doing an amazing job, I honestly think that they are overperforming a little bit. So I'm gonna take Aston Villa on the money line in this one, minus 114 at home. I think that's a great price, and I think we're gonna get a win here. Fulham is hosting Luton Town, and these two teams have been quite sloppy in this early season. Fulham has been a little bit better because they are a bit more experienced when it comes to playing in the EPL, while Luton Town has scored only 2 goals so far this season, conceded 9. Fulham has conceded 10. And I think that both teams will see this game potentially as a chance to get a win or a positive result. And the only way that's going to happen is if we see some goals and some effort on both sides. So I'm going to go with both teams to score in this one, minus 127. I'm leaning towards Fulham, of course, but I think that Luton Town is due to get a nice positive result, and it might as well be here. So both teams to score for me in this matchup. Manchester United and Brighton are facing off in the next game, and this will be an interesting game. We know that the situation once again in Manchester United is not great. Sancho has been sent to kind of train on his own until he gets his act together. They were lacking some serious offense. They were a little bit sloppy in that midfield, and as usual, their defense hasn't been performing that stable in this early season. As far as Brighton goes, they have absolutely demolished Newcastle before the international break 3-1. And once again, they are playing their signature football with a lot of chances, a lot of passes, a lot of great plays and stuff. And once again, they are scoring a lot of goals. So instead of choosing the sides in this one, I'm going to go with Brighton team total over 1.5 goals, minus 103. Brighton definitely has Manchester United's number as of late. They have beaten them in 3 of their last 4 games, scored at least a goal in each of those games, and I think that Brighton definitely has whatever it takes to score at least a couple of goals in this game. Tottenham and Sheffield United are facing off in the next matchup, and Tottenham has actually been one of the most exciting teams so far in this early season. They're playing pretty solid football. They haven't lost to Sheffield in their last 5 games, and Sheffield is actually still without a win so far this season. So this is definitely an important game for Sheffield, but it is very, very great opportunity for Tottenham to keep their winning streak alive. And we can see that they're pretty heavy favorites, as they should be, which means that we have to look somewhere else to get some value out of this game. And I decided to take Son to score at any time at minus 139 for Tottenham. He will be in the starting lineup. He's playing well so far this season, and I think he will get a few chances in this one to score at least one goal. So I'm taking Son to score at any time. West Ham is hosting Manchester City in this very, very interesting matchup in the EPL. Both teams on a nice winning streak. West Ham has 3 wins in a row. Manchester City has 5 wins in a row. And both teams are playing in Europe next week. Now, both teams are also playing at home. City is hosting Crvena Zvezda from Serbia. West Ham is hosting Bajka Topola, also from Serbia, which is an interesting fact here. But I think that both teams will try to go for the win here. It's no secret that Manchester City will dominate the possession, but I think that West Ham can definitely get to the scoreboard. Now, can they outscore City? I'm not so sure, which is why I'm going to take a stab at both teams to score and City to win at plus 188. I think that's an excellent value, especially because they're playing on the road. They definitely deserve to be the favorites, but I don't think they can win this game with keeping a clean sheet. So both teams to score and City to win at plus 188. The final game of the EPL that we have on Saturday is between Newcastle and Brentford. Now, like I said, Newcastle is coming off of a loss. As a matter of fact, they are on a 3 game losing streak, while Brentford is still undefeated this season. And even though they have won both of their games on the road, I think this is going to be a very, very hard game for them because Newcastle will do everything, absolutely everything they can to get back on the winning track because pretty soon, actually next week, they're playing against Milan in the Champions League and they definitely need a win here. I don't think they will do much calculations. I don't think that they will focus on the resting player in this early season. So I'm going to take Newcastle to win and over 1.5 goals, which is minus 148. Now we are off to Spanish La Liga and we have a few interesting games. The first one is between Athletic Bilbao and Cadiz. Now both teams had a solid start to the season so far, and I think this is going to be a pretty interesting matchup here. And even head-to-head fixtures have been solid as of late, pretty evenly matched. And I think that Cadiz definitely has what it takes to get to the scoreboard here. And even though they have been a little bit sloppier on the road than they have been at home, uh, I think that they will be a real threat here. So I am leaning towards Bilbao. Once again, we have to look for value because they are pretty heavy favorites. So I'm going to go with Bilbao to win in over 1.5 goals, minus 122. I think that's a satisfying price, and I'm going to take it. Valencia and Atletico Madrid is the next matchup in La Liga, and Valencia had a solid start to the season, but then again they went on a 2 game losing streak, and once again their form is down the toilet. I'm sure they will try to kind of recover from it, but Atletico Madrid hasn't lost any of their last 6 games. They are playing in the Champions League next week, but they better keep that nice positive streak alive. And for that to happen, I think they will need to score at least a couple of goals here. So I'm going to take Atletico Madrid team total over 1.5 goals plus 110. I think that they're slowly changing their ways. They're scoring more, they're creating more chances, and I think they score at least twice in this game. Celta Vigo and Mallorca is the next matchup, guys. And Celta Vigo is coming off of a win against Almeria 3-2. However, they're still conceding a ton of goals. And Mallorca, as sloppy as they have been so far this season, I think that Celta Vigo is not good enough defensively to stop Mallorca from scoring. So when I saw the price, I absolutely had to take it. Both teams to score in Celta Vigo and Mallorca at plus 120. I'll take some of this action, guys. So thank you to the books for giving us this great price. I think that the least we see here is going to be 1-1. The last game of the day in La Liga is a derby matchup between Barcelona and Real Betis. Now, Betis, very, very solid team. They have the quality, they have the depth. They are definitely a very competitive team. However, they have won only 2 of their last 6 games. Yes, they're coming off of a win against Rayo Vallecano 1-0. But they haven't been that effective so far this season. And if you want to beat Barcelona, that's exactly what you will need. Barcelona is still heating up. They are on a 3 game winning streak. They have scored 8 goals in those 3 games. However, their defense has been incredibly sloppy this early season. So uh, Is Barcelona gonna get a win? In my opinion, they will, but I don't think they will do it by keeping a clean sheet. So I'm taking Barcelona to win and both teams to score. Plus 180, outstanding price, definitely worth taking because, like I said, Barcelona's defense has been quite sloppy this early season, and they need to get that going before their Champions League matchups. Off to the Italian Serie A, and this is where we have a few big derbies going on Saturday. The first one is between Juventus and Lazio. Juventus undefeated in their last 6 or 7 games or so, and they haven't lost to Lazio at home in their last 6 games. However, Lazio has beaten Napoli 2-1 on the road, and that win might be a kind of a turnover for this team, and they might become a little bit more consistent, especially because they play in the Champions League next week, and they need that consistency to face Atletico Madrid. So I think this is going to be a highly competitive match. Usually, we see a lot of fouls in this derbies in Italy, and I don't think this was going to be any different. In my opinion, I think it's going to go. It can go either way. So I decided to go with cards over 4.5 cards at minus 150. Uh, I would love for this price to be a little bit closer to the even money, but then again, 4.5 line is not that big for this derby. So over 4.5 cards in Juventus versus Lazio. Derby della Madonnina, we have one of the biggest derbies in Italy, guys, between Inter and Milan. And both teams on a nice winning streak. Both teams have been showing some great things in this early season. And we usually see the home team winning this one. And Milan hasn't won any of their last 3 games when Inter was the home team, even though they're playing in the same stadium. So there's not much home advantage there. And Milan actually hasn't won any of their last 4 games overall against Inter. Um, I think this is going to be another great game, and with both teams playing in the Champions League next week, uh, can we expect some resting here? Maybe in the second half, around 60th minute or so. But you know what? I think this is going to be a great game. I think it's going to be highly competitive, as they usually are between these two teams. So I'm gonna I'm gonna go a little bit outside of the box here because I think that Milan was so impressive in this early season. I'm gonna take both teams to score and Milan to win. Plus 525. I think that even if you put like 10% of a unit or something like that, it's definitely worth a shot. But I'll probably go for a full unit of this one. I have a good feeling about this one, and I think that Milan has what it takes to beat Inter here after a while. So both teams to score and Milan win plus 525. The last game of the day in Serie A is between Genoa and Napoli, and I'm keeping this one very, very simple, guys. Genoa has been solid so far this season, yes, while Napoli has lost to Lazio at home in their last game, and they will definitely try to bounce back in this one. So I'm taking Napoli on the money line, minus 162. Might even put it in a double with that cards game in Juventus and Lazio and get nice plus money out of this, but I'm definitely seeing Napoli winning this game. Off to Bundesliga, guys. We have Köln and Hoffenheim in the first matchup in Bundesliga, and we have some interesting games here as well. Hoffenheim very solid so far this season on a nice 3 game winning streak. They are scoring goals. They've scored 9 goals in their last 3 games, but they have also conceded at least a goal in each of their last 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games or so. So I think it's obvious where I'm going with this one. I'm going to go with both teams to score in over 2.5, minus 125. This price is just too good to pass up on, and I think it's going to be a winner for us. Mainz will be hosting Stuttgart in the next matchup in Bundesliga, guys, and Stuttgart has actually been quite impressive. They have went from the team fighting for survival in Bundesliga last season to the team in third place in this early season, and the team that has been scoring an insane amount of goals. So once again, without too much complicating things, Mainz has been very, very sloppy on that defensive end, especially. So I'm gonna take Stuttgart team total over 1.5 goals plus 120. I know that we have to be a bit careful after the international break, but I like this pick a lot, guys, and I will take it for sure. So, Stuttgart team total goals over 1.5 at plus 120. Leipzig will be hosting Augsburg, and as we can see, Leipzig is a heavy, heavy favorite because Augsburg hasn't won any of their last 6 games, and when playing at home, Leipzig hasn't lost to Augsburg in any of their last 7 games. On top of that, Leipzig has lost only one of their last 6 games. They are scoring quite a lot of goals. They are coming off of a nice win against Union Berlin 3-0 on the road, and they will definitely try to get another win here because they are playing in the Champions League next week against Young Boys, so they better keep that form up. As we can see, pretty heavy favorites for Leipzig, so I decided to go with a goal scorer here, and that is Timo Werner to score at any time at plus 110. He still hasn't scored this season. Leipzig has scored a lot of goals. He, like I said, hasn't scored yet, and I think this might be the game where he does because we might expect Leipzig to do some rotations and give a break to some of those players who played during the international break. Freiburg and Dortmund should be a very interesting matchup in Bundesliga, guys. And Dortmund actually is undefeated in their last 19 games. They haven't lost any of their last 10 games, and they might as well get a positive result out of this one. But Freiburg has been very, very solid in this early season, and they are coming off of a win from a friendly game. And they need to bounce back in Bundesliga as well. So instead of choosing the sides in this one, because it could go either way, in my opinion, both teams to score at over 2.5, minus 143. Definitely worth a shot, and I think we're going to see a lot of chances in this one. Wolfsburg will be hosting Union Berlin, and I think this is going to be a highly competitive matchup where Union Berlin will try to focus a little bit more on the defense because they need that defense back ahead of their Champions League game, which is against Real Madrid next week, and it's on the road. Wolfsburg quite solid so far this season. They started the season with 2 wins, but then they lost to Hoffenheim 3-1. I would certainly give them advantage at home here, but you know what? Union Berlin is not going to give up, and we know they have a lot of fight in them, and they are the team that is going to play until the last second. So I'm going to go with the draw in this one, plus 240. Should be an interesting matchup, but I don't think we're going to see a winner in this one. Bochum and Eintracht are the matchup in the last Bundesliga game of the day, and Bochum is I don't know. They're not that bad this season. They're actually undefeated in their first 3 games. Uh, in their last 3 games, they lost the first game, but then they went on a 3 game draw streak. But Eintracht, they seem to be rising their form and they're slowly getting into the groove. They're coming off of a win in that friendly game. They had a few draws over the last 5 games or so. And this is definitely a game where they are more than capable enough to get a win here. So I'm going to give it a shot with Eintracht on the money line. Plus 125. I think the price is definitely worth taking. And I think that Eintracht will get a win in this one. And I'm not sure if they play in the Europe or not next week, but they definitely need to keep their positive streak alive. So Eintracht on the money line at plus 125 for me. And the last game of this video, guys, is from the French League One, and that is Rennes against Lille. Now, this is going to be a very interesting game, and in this matchup, we have seen a lot of draws. 2 draws in their last 3 games. We have seen a away team winning some games. We have seen the home team winning some games, and both of these teams are playing in a kind of a decent form. Rennes is on a 3 game draw streak. Lille has lost only one of their last 6 games. And I think this is going to be a competitive game where I think that both teams will try to focus a little bit more on defense, especially Lille, who's playing in the Conference League next week. And Rennes is actually playing in the Europa League against Maccabi Haifa at home. So, like I said, we might expect some rotations. And I think that will kind of diminish the quality of the game in this match. So I'm going to go with the first half draw at plus 140. I think if we get any goals, it's going to be in the second half. And if we're lucky, we're going to see at least one or two in the second half. But first half, I think we're going to see a little bit slower football. And I think it's going to end in a draw. So Rennes against Lille, first half draw. That's it, everyone. Thank you for joining me here. This is a long video, I know, but we have 21 free picks for you here. So check it out, guys. put some bets in, and let's win some money together on Saturday. Of course, check out my best bets at Pickdawgz website, and of course, stay tuned for more free picks coming up to the Pickdawgz YouTube channel, and get those free MLS winners for Saturday night as well. That's it. Have a great Saturday, and I'll see you soon.